Hi everybody, I'm Tish and I'm an independent consultant with Arbonne International. I'm very excited to be here and to share my story with you. I go back about 2 years to a klutzy little slip in the shower where I fell and landed on my back. Not a pleasant place to be, screaming for my husband to come in and get me because he was in the other room watching football with his earphones on that I had bought him for Christmas, so I didn't have to hear it, but as a result he couldn't hear me screaming. So it took a few minutes, but he finally got me out of the shower, and we recognized that something was direly wrong with my back. And off we went the next morning to our orthopedic surgeon, where he informed me that I had a sprain, and a rather bad one. And I spent the next 3 months flat on my back. Not fun, but there's not too much you can do for a sprain. But as a result of this fall and the time that I had alone to contemplate my life and the aging process and all that was going on with me, and it wasn't as easy to heal as it used to be when we were younger, and that took me to chiropractic services through my orthopedic surgeon's office, and I started on the road to recovery. Inside of about 6 months, we had a little staff change at my sports medicine place, and I met this amazing woman named Dr. Susan Starler, who really took an interest in my health. More than an interest, but a personal delve into why. Questions, more questions. Why? Why did you do this? Why are you doing that? How is it affecting you? What's happening to you physically as a result of? All kinds of questions, things that I hadn't even thought about. And I was having, and getting worse on a regular basis, terrible pain in my hands. My hands were swelling up. They were becoming arthritic. My jewelry was I couldn't take my rings off. I couldn't zip my pants up. Some simple things that, like holding a pencil and being able to write and then being able to read what I wrote. I couldn't do that. And so I would ask Susan to start adjusting my hands. And so she would, and they would feel better again for a few minutes, but then I would go back to, they would swell up and aching and so forth. And then one day Susan said to me, I want to suggest something to you. I am a nutritionist after all, and some of these issues that you're having can be solved by proper nutrition. And so I'm going to ask you to stay off gluten for a week. And I had no clue what gluten was or how it affected me or anyone for that matter. And so Susan explained it all to me. And I said, okay, if you think that's what I should do, then that's what I'll do. And I went home and I told my husband that I was going to be gluten-free for a week and see what happened as a result with my physical symptoms. And so I did. And 5 days later, I was standing in my kitchen. I love telling this. I had Michael Jackson on the stereo because he makes me move and I love to move. And so I was moving and I was standing in the kitchen and I was dancing and moving around, and my daughter looked at me and she said, what are you doing? And I said, what do you mean, what am I doing? And she said, look at you, look at your hands, you're snapping your fingers. And I was, oh my gosh, I was blown away. And this was only 5 days of not eating gluten. And so I was amazed. I couldn't wait to go back to Dr. Susan and say, what's next? Because if this could help my hands in 5 days, there had to be more that could help the other portions of my body that were aging faster than I wanted them to age, like my digestive system. And so we started talking in one of our sessions, and she said to me, I know you drink a protein drink every morning. You've told me that you've been doing that for years. She said, what is the base of the protein drink? And I said, it's whey. And she said, aha! There's your culprit. And I said, well, why? What's the matter with whey? And she said, whey is dairy. And dairy can affect your digestion like nothing else can. And I said, you mean like cramps? You mean like writhing on the floor with chills and sweats and just groaning because you want to die because going to the bathroom is such a painful experience? I'm sorry guys, but that's what it is. And she said, yeah. And so I said, okay, I'll try anything. And so she handed me 2 packages of Arbonne protein shake and said, I want you to substitute this with what you've been doing. Well, first of all, I went 2 days without doing anything, just sort of to clear the way. And then I tried Arbonne's protein powder, which is plant-based and not dairy-based, and immediately felt energy, didn't feel bloated, didn't feel, for lack of a better description, and just said, wait a minute, there's got to be something. And then, of course, going to the bathroom was no big deal. And I was like, oh, this is worth it right then and there. And so I went back to Dr. Susan and I said, okay, I like what's happening here, so I think you better tell me about this Arbonne stuff. And slowly but surely, she started introducing me a few products at a time, a fizz stick, a chew, a digestion plus, all of which made me feel good. And if I can feel good, then isn't that the name of the game at my age? And to have energy and to not let anything stop me. And so enter Arbonne 30-Day for Healthy Living program. And at the end of 1 month, I felt amazing. I felt 10 years younger. I felt like I could go out and conquer the world. My hands were working great. My digestive system was working great. And I feel great. So at that point, I went back again to Dr. Susan and I said, okay, you told me there's a business attached to this. I want to know what it is. Because if I feel this good, and my friends who are my age can feel this good, this is something that I need to know about, understand, and share. And so, hence, I became an Arbonne independent consultant, and I am so grateful for my new lifestyle, and most of all for these products, and most of all for the friends and relationships that I've built in the last 5 months, which are amazing. When you find a bunch of like-minded people who care about themselves, and as a result of caring about themselves, care about others, that's my lifestyle. That's where I belong. That's home for me. Thank you.